the sacrifice, the hard work, the belief that we need to give of ourselves so that our next generation can have more. And I was proud to volunteer and go on that mission. By the grace of God, I'm here today to tell you about it. So when I returned, I went right back to school. And I was studying accounting and finance right here in Manhattan, Baruch College. And again, coming from a humble financial background and that work ethic that was instilled by mom and dad, I had to go to work. And I fortunately pulled the graveyard shift as a clerk with the FBI. And I worked midnight to 8 in the morning and went to school from 9 to 4, studying accounting. And I did this for a short period of time until they recognized my leadership skills. And off I went to my first federal academy in Glencoe, Georgia. And I became a federal police officer, and I was sworn in. I took the oath for a second time as a U.S. Deputy Marshal. I came back, and I proudly served as a federal police officer, and so I was recruited to go to Wall Street. I was still studying for my accounting degree, and I started at the lowest rung and worked my way up. I went to Wall Street as a research analyst, and in short order, they recognized that I was a go-getter, that I didn't sit on the sidelines. I didn't wait to be told what to do. I took the lead. I studied, I trained, I took the exams, and I was licensed to trade stock. But after a couple of years, and go figure, just as I started to figure it out and make some money, the FBI called me up. You still interested in a career with the FBI? Because we have an appointment for you as a special agent. I have to tell you, it was the second biggest honor of my life. And of course, I jumped at the opportunity. And I was sent back to the New York office, which believe it or not is considered a hardship office because it's so expensive. I know you can't believe that, but it's true. And I get sent back to New York. My first squad was the Gambino squad, the illustrious Gambino squad. And I have to tell you, I worked with some of the finest men and women that this country has to offer. Before long, I found my niche. I went 5.5 years deep undercover, fighting corruption. Corruption from Wall Street to bad guys, dirty cops, dirty politicians. And that's the reason why I want to go to Congress. For the same exact reason that I enlisted in the Marine Corps, for the same exact reason that I accepted an appointment as a special agent of the FBI. I love this country. I'm willing to give my life for it. I've studied hard in accounting and finance. I earned my law degree at night while I was a special agent. But most of all, I am a fighter. And I know a lot of people talk about fighting for your rights and fighting for you in Congress. But let me tell you something. I have the experience, the hands-on training over 21 years. And it's not just in government. Because when I left the FBI in 2006, I started my own business from the ground up. I took a mortgage out of my home right here in Heartland Village to start that business. And it was the work ethic and the respect for getting the job done that got me through. And I tell you tonight, with your help, I know that I can go to Congress and I can stop the out-of-control spending. I can stop and lower the taxes. I can strengthen our national defense. And I can bring sanity back to Washington along with some integrity. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
For those of you that don't believe me, I really do sit there and write a lot in red. For you, that means you get to answer a question. Michael, you talk a lot about something which I raised my hand and promised to live by, still do, the honor code, ethics. We need ethics reform in Washington, D.C. Policy reform is not the only thing we need. We have to change that culture of institutional lack of ethics and corruption on both sides of the aisle. down in Washington, D.C., and how do you think, and it's a tough question to answer in a short time, give it your best shot. But what can be done to begin to change that institutional lack of ethics on both sides of the aisle?
Thank you, that's an excellent question. It's a difficult question, but it's an excellent question. First and foremost, how do we attack any problem? With leadership. The same way I learned in the United States Marine Corps. It starts with leadership. We set an example. We don't just say the words. If I'm anything, I'm a man that's always walked the walk. The man that has stood up and taken the action. And I think we actually do have a lot of good people in Washington. It's easy to stand up here and bash them. It's easy to look at the negative side. But there are a lot of good, hard-working Americans in Washington. What we need is true leadership. We need to band together. I'm very proud of the fact that there are 29 combat veterans running for Congress across this country throughout the entire nation. 29. We just heard from our future Senator Bernstein. He's one of them. Him and I have spoken with other combat veterans. One of the things, to just directly answer the question, is to take these like-minded conservative individuals and band together and form our own caucus. We start by leading by example. We take our fellow conservatives and we set the example by walking the walk, because the problem often is, among politicians, they're all willing to talk the talk, but when the tough decisions come, they're hidden and they're silent. Unfortunately, right now, here in 13, we have a congressman like that. We have a congressman that today should be standing up against our president and telling him that we need that $53 million for our homeland security here in New York. But he's not doing that. He's not doing that. Let me ask you a question. What is Congressman McMahon doing tonight? Because he's not standing up against our president. Let me tell you what he's doing. He's hosting a fundraiser for Nancy Pelosi and President Obama in Manhattan tonight. That's what he's doing. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not leadership, and it certainly isn't what we need here in New York's 13th Congressional District. Thank you. Thank you.